Can you turn me in?
And start recording. All right, let me just look at the camera. We're gonna hit. Hey guys, welcome. Give us a second. We just need to get started. Just got to do a couple things. We're in a new place, so give us a minute. We're in our new digs, so give us a minute. Okay, come on, I tell you. All right, there you go. Hey, Steph, how are you? I'm Mike. We can't see you on camera, though. Hey, so we're trying to work a couple things here out because we're on YouTube as well, so we got to make sure we're facing the right camera before the owner comes and shoots us. But hey, welcome. Whoa, yeah. So we are back. Yep. We've been gone for about a month. We needed some R&R. We transitioned to a new station. So if you're watching us now, you want to listen to the show, you can go to phillyhottradio.com. That's phillyhottradio.com. You can go in there and listen to the show directly from there. We're also on a YouTube channel now, and you can actually call us tonight if you want to talk to us. So let me give you the call-in number real quick. It's 484-477-6348. Once again, that's 484-477-6348. And welcome to A Day in the Life of Men. I'm Tom.
I'm Mike.
And we are happy to be back.
We're so happy to be back.
So happy, because we thought we'd be back a couple of weeks ago. But nevertheless, we are glad to be back. Thank you for joining us. Do us a favor and share and tag. And let's just chat a little bit. How's your summer been, Mike?
It's been wonderful. Took a vacation.
Right.
Went to the beach. Got a little tan. Got a new job.
Wonderful. Praise God for the new job.
So yes, loving my new job.
Right.
God has been good. That's all I got to say. Because I'm telling you, if you don't know God, you need to know Him for your Lord and your personal Savior.
Yes, you do.
Let me tell you something. When God says something, He always does it.
Yes, He does.
It may not come when you want it to come.
Right, exactly.
But Lord knows it came right on time.
Right on time. Yes, it did. So I'm really happy. I'm having a good summer. I've been busy working on my other business. I grew a beard. Yes. I grew a little beard here. Don't get used to it. I think it's going to go any day now. But I've had the beard. I'm always thought backwards. I grew the beard all summer. Now the winter's coming, I'm going to get rid of it.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't understand it either, but nevertheless. Yeah. But I think the next week or two, the beard's going to go bye-bye. I've enjoyed it. It'll probably come back at some point, but I think I'm going to go back to the clean-shaven look. But I've had a good summer. Just enjoying life. God is good, but there's been a lot going on.
Wow.
There's been so much going on these past few months, especially we've only been off the air for a little bit off a month. Yeah. But the amount of stuff that is going on in that short period of time has just been very disturbing.
It's crazy.
It is like people have lost their mind.
Ooh,
we've had two mass shootings.
Yes.
We've had the police shooting.
Right.
And then today, just a little while ago, we found out the police commissioner resigned.
Yeah, we had the 4 congressmen told they need to go back home.
Right, exactly.
Like they don't live in America.
They don't live in America. So tonight we're going to talk about basically where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Because there's a lot of mess going on right now. But the concern that we have as men is that while there's a lot of things going on, there's no solution.
Right.
Like, one of the things that concerns me that everybody's talking about and President Trump is talking about when it comes to making stricter gun laws. All right, I'm with you with that. I don't think he's going to do it. I get that. That's true. We need to. But nobody's addressing the problem with how are the guns getting in the hands of the people in the first place.
That's right.
Especially in our neighborhoods. Hey, Martin, I sent you a message. I sent you a message on Messenger. Check it out. How are guns getting into the hand of people in the first place, especially in African-American neighborhoods? But not just in African-American neighborhoods. I mean, because they're in white neighborhoods too. Because these mass shooters are being done by white people. They're not being really typically done by black people. Where are they getting these guns from? Are they legal? And I venture to say that from the African American community, they're not going in the stores and buying these AK-57s, these AR-57s.
No, they're
I
not.
venture to say that they're not doing that. So somebody is supplying the guns to these people. And the question before we think about anything else is, where are these guns coming from? Because if we don't stop the supply of guns within the city, then we have a major problem. If we don't stop it and deter that from happening, then gun laws and all that don't make no difference. Because the gun laws are important, but they only apply to the people who are legally buying guns. But now what's happening is, because now we're going to have more people buying guns legally, if they make the gun law, make the gun law stricter, now you're going to have them looking for illegal guns.
That's right.
We got to stop the illegal guns from getting into the hands of our people, from getting into the neighborhoods, because that's where the real problem is.
Yeah, that is what the real problem is. And then from the straw purchases, somebody may purchase a gun from a gun show, and then they sell it to somebody who doesn't care, don't have a license, don't care, didn't have a criminal background check, didn't have a mental check, nothing. They're just selling the gun to make money.
Exactly.
See, the problem is in America is that, first of all, it's too many guns.
Right.
Everybody don't need a gun in America.
No, they do not.
You don't need no AK and all that AR and all that other stuff either.
Right.
See, remember back in the 80s when first they said, quote, black president Bill Clinton, he passed a law that banned assault weapons.
Right.
Bush Jr. came in and let the gun law, that assault weapon law, just pass off the books.
Right.
So then you created what we now got, an environment of everybody got to have a long gun.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody got to have a magazine holding 100 rounds,
right,
70 rounds, you know.
Exactly.
And then all saying because of the Second Amendment.
Right.
People don't know what the Second Amendment is really about.
They do not. Because it's not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But see, that's the problem. People don't really know what the Second Amendment was about. See, remember, the Second Amendment was back in the day where they used to hunt for their food, kill it, bring it home, skin it, and put it on the plate.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
After they cook it.
Right.
Or they were either in a place where there was danger,
mm-hmm.
Native Americans were there at the time, natives, or bears or anything else. They had to defend their territory.
Exactly, that's right.
So now we got this second. They was throwing the Second Amendment. Oh, we're using this AK to shoot a deer. If you shoot a deer with that, you'll blow the deer up.
Right, exactly.
Basically, kill everything.
Exactly.
Blow his head off and everything else.
Right.
See, I don't understand this. And see, the problem is it's too many guns, and there's too many guns in the hands of people that shouldn't have them.
That's right, exactly. And we're not addressing that, and they want to keep, the gun right activists are always about the right. Who's saying? Oh, that's you back there. Okay. Like, they always talk about the right to bear arms, and I understand the right to bear arms, but we've taken that into a whole different category now than what it was originally intended. Because now, while the right to bear arms is a right to bear all guaranteed under the Constitution, that piece right there needs to be amended.
Yes.
Because everybody should not have the right to bear a gun.
Right.
I'm sorry for all you gun activists. I don't knock you, NRA people, but everybody should not have that right, because everybody cannot handle that responsibility. And that law, that amendment needs to be changed, especially when it comes to assault weapons.
Right.
It's different between you have a nice little 45 or 22 in your pocket.
Or even a hunting rifle.
A hunting rifle.
That shoot one round. You don't need an automatic weapon to go out there and kill nothing.
Exactly. So the fact that these automatic weapons are out here on the street freely now.
Right.
Freely. And nobody's addressing, nobody wants to talk about how they're getting there. And here's what we're going to do, like we always do. These mass shootings have occurred the past couple of weeks. They're going to talk about it for a little while. They're going to do a little bit of something, and we're not going to hear about it again. And the politicians are going to try to bring this into their political campaign.
Right.
But they're not going to do anything about it. Because I'm tired of hearing about what's happening. I want to hear about what we're going to do about
That's
it.
right. What's the action plan?
What is the action plan?
Because there got to be an action plan.
Exactly.
Because you can't tell me you had 2 mass shootings.
Right.
In the course of a week. Mm-hmm. You had 6 police officers shot.
Right.
Outside somebody else's house.
Uh-huh.
And all these about these automatic assault weapons.
Right.
So you televise this thing on national TV. One person told me his bosses and one of his partners' parents called them from Israel to talk about this.
Right.
Because it was on CNN. They saw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So America has a very violent streak right now.
That's right.
And you know, we must. We gotta have at least common sense gun laws.
Right. Exactly.
I don't understand why we can't have common sense gun laws.
Right. Exactly.
Why can't you have a background check?
Right.
Why can't you have a mental? Somebody need to do some mental checking too.
Exactly. Why can't we have a longer waiting period?
That's right.
And that's the thing right there. Why don't we have a longer waiting period for anybody to have a gun?
Right.
Because the only people that really should have guns are those in the military that need guns.
That's right.
Those in the military, police officers, etc., etc., etc. I'm not knocking a man having a gun in his house to protect his family.
That's it.
I'm not knocking that. So don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But there's no reason for anybody to have an AK-47 or an assault rifle in their house.
That's right.
It's just not. And the fact that we have these guns that's floating through our streets so freely, and then they're coming into our neighborhoods, and these things are happening, and nobody seems to want to talk about how they got there and how do we stop it from there. So that's a part of our topic tonight. Where do we go from here?
That's right.
One of the ways we go from here when we talk about gun thing is it's more than gun control.
That's right.
It's more about figuring out how these weapons are getting into the hands of the wrong people and stopping them. Because until we address that, you can do all the gun control you want to, but until you address that, it's not going to happen. What's that comment?
They have not figured it out yet.
No, they sounded they right. They haven't figured it out yet. That's right. But it's time that they do. It's time that we sit down and have some serious conversation about this topic. So nobody's talking about this part of it. They're talking about the gun control, the gun control law, which is fine. It needs to be talked about. But nobody is sitting down and talking about the bigger picture. Like Mike always says, there's a root to every problem.
There's a root to it.
There's a root, and we have not gotten into the root of this whole, and the root of this situation, I can tell you right now, President Trump and all you other people, here's the root. The guns are coming into our neighborhoods, and we got to stop that. That is the root of the problem, number one. Once we figure that out, and then tie that into the gun control laws, now we got something done.
That's right.
But you're treating them as two separate issues, and they are not two separate issues. They are the same thing, and they need to be addressed at the same time. Well, I feel this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but it's ridiculous.
But the third thing is this, though, Tom, and nobody really talking about this.
Right.
If you notice, a lot of these shootings are caused by people who can't cope with their lives.
Right, exactly.
They can't cope with their lives.
They can't cope with their lives, you're right.
They had the young man who shot all these people in, in Texas, El Paso, the other week.
Right.
And now he's on suicide watch.
Right. Exactly.
This was a guy who went out, bought a gun, targeted people of a race,
right?
Brown Latino people,
right?
Went and shot him up. Went to the police station, confessed it. Now he's sitting in jail. He's thinking about all the things he done. Now he's on suicide watch.
Right, exactly.
Because you know why? Let me tell you what's going on. I was watching NBC the other day.
Okay.
And this guy, he was so, I think it was a great statement. We have so many people that think they are losers.
Yeah, you do.
We have so many people who have low self-esteem.
Right.
And they want to do something to make them famous.
Right, exactly.
To make them important.
Right.
They want to join something to make them important.
To feel valued.
To feel valued. So what they do is they tag on, they link onto these people who have these racist thoughts.
Right.
Who don't really care about them.
Exactly.
Only thing they're exploiting them, the only thing they're doing is they're exploiting them, helping them, causing them to go out to kill people because they too coward themselves to do it.
Right.
So they hype up this young man who probably is hopeless, has no hope, has no dreams, no possibility of feeling like he don't have no possibility of success. So he tags and he goes on these racist websites, and now he got this in his mind like, I gotta go out there and do something like kill somebody.
Exactly. And that's a shame, and people don't even want to realize. Here's the big thing, Mike, and people don't, and this is where people don't want to talk about. Let's just shift just a little bit, because we're talking about where do we go from here, and I'm gonna go somewhere with this.
Okay.
But here's the big thing: people don't understand that this is a spiritual thing that's going on right now.
It is.
Because evil has reared its ugly head in so many different shapes and forms right now, and here's what's causing that. And people don't understand that words.
Right.
Words are dictating people's actions. You got a president of the United States who's telling people to send them back to where they come from. Send them back where they came from.
Send them back.
Citizens of the United States, send them back where they come from. Then he doesn't care what he says, and he doesn't realize that he's speaking to people who are already thinking these things.
Right.
People who already got some messed up thoughts in their head, but probably wouldn't act upon it. But now you've got a president who seems okay with all this, and now he's saying it. So now you got the person that's looking to be famous and don't have no self-esteem. He's got the president of the United States making these statements, and now he's like, hey, now I can do something.
Now I can do something.
Now I can do something. Plain and simple, the devil is busy.
That's it.
If you want to come right down to it, the devil is busy, but nobody wants to talk about that aspect. But if we're going to go anywhere from here, we're going to need to go back to the things of God first and foremost.
That's right.
And nobody wants to say that. The gun things are out of control, people's attitudes, people's mindset. The president of the United States is out of control. Mm-hmm. We can't stop him. We can't. Well, we can outvote him out. But in the meantime, we've got to address the bigger issue. Satan is busy.
That's it.
And it's just that simple. And nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to believe it. But where do we go from here? We go back to the beginning.
That's right.
We go back to the Word of God and the way we were brought up.
That's right.
You know, and nobody's talking about that because now everything is everything, as Lauryn Hill says. But everything, do your thing, do you, I'm good. Well, people doing them has gotten us into a whole lot of trouble.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, because now there's no moral fortitude. There's very little value. Everything's acceptable. So now people think they have a right to be nasty. They think they have a right to be racist. They think that's because that's my inherited right to do that. And now, so there's no barrier now.
That's
everything is acceptable.
And they hide behind the First Amendment.
Hide behind it.
Yes.
Exactly.
First, I can say what I want to say.
Right. Exactly.
I got freedom of speech.
Right. Exactly.
See, but you got. It's not about freedom of speech.
It's not.
You gotta have morals.
Right.
You gotta have values.
Exactly.
You gotta have love for people.
Right.
A lot of these people out here don't love nobody.
They don't.
They don't know about love.
They don't.
All they do is screw hate.
Right, exactly.
So the one thing when I was talking to you about the young man, the one thing I found when I was driving today and I heard he was committing suicide, I know it was an act of a demon in him. Because now he did all this.
Right.
Now he had time to think about it.
Right.
He's sitting in jail. Now he's like, oh, now I want to kill myself.
Right, exactly.
But they just like the devil.
The devil that left that demon that left him.
Yeah, that left him. He got everything that he wanted from him.
That's
now
right.
he's sitting in the cell by himself. Thinking about what did I do?
What did I do? But nobody wants to talk about that.
No.
Nobody wants to talk about the spiritual stuff because we are in such an area right now, like I said before, that we should be able to do what we want to do, live however we want to live, and it should be accepted. But ladies and gentlemen, what you don't understand, doing this is tearing us apart as a country and as a people. It is the no barriers, it is the no filter, it is to live my life any way that I want to, that is a cause of all this madness that we're living with.
That's right.
So the question we go back to tonight, and the question we're asking tonight is, where do we go from here?
Yeah, where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? Because if you don't want to deal with the spiritual aspect of it, if you don't want to live the life according to the way God says we should live it, then what are you going to do?
That's right.
Because the answer is in front of us. We just don't want to accept it. Living a godly life, praying and all those things are things we need to be doing right now. If we're not praying right, and I didn't mean to go here, but here I am.
Go ahead.
But if we're not praying right now, we're not helping the situation.
That's right.
I'm really tired of all the talk, because we need to pray for the man in office, whether we like him or not.
That's right.
We've heard this before because he's out of control and he don't even realize that he's out of control. So therefore, for those of us who know better, we should do better. It's not about liking him.
That's right.
But it's about praying that he gets some wisdom somewhere. But this is where for me, this is where we go from here.
That's right. I pray for the man.
Right,
I pray for his mental health.
Right, exactly. Because obviously
I do. I pray for his mental health.
Exactly.
Because like I said, I had to respect the office.
Right, exactly.
That he holds.
Right.
And sometimes, it's hard for me to sit up there like this. Okay, he is the president of the United States.
Right.
I disagree with everything he's about.
Right, exactly.
But I still have to pray for him.
Right, exactly.
I still have to say, I have to pray for his mental health. God, give him wisdom.
That's right, exactly.
Give him compassion for the people.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And because a lot of times, that's when we praying for him to get out of office, he might not get out of office.
That's
what
right.
you gonna do then?
Don't say it, but it's the truth. He might get another 4 years.
Yeah.
Because there's still enough people out there who like him.
That's right. Still
seriously,
people.
Regardless of all that he's said and all that he's doing, there are still enough people. There were enough people to vote him into office. There's still enough people out there who like him, who frighteningly might put him back in office.
That's right.
So therefore, we have to be prepared to deal with the reality of that situation, because we weren't prepared for him to be in office.
Yeah.
But there he is.
There he is.
So let's not be caught by surprise if he ends up back in office again. But in the meantime, there are things that we can do. And tonight, if you just joined us, we're talking about where do we go from here? Because it's a lot of hot mess going on right now. It's a hot mess. I mean, every day you turn around, somebody's getting shot, somebody's getting killed. Let's talk about our neighborhoods now.
Right.
Let's talk about the amount of killings that are going on in the city of Philadelphia, the city
not just the shooting, not just the killing, the shooting.
The shooting, right. Wilmington, Delaware, that's where I live. Chicago, New York. I mean, the shootings. Like, once again, how are they getting these guns?
That's right.
And what has happened to our young, I already told you before, what has happened to our young people to the fact that they don't care about taking life? And here's the scary part, Mike. They don't care about dying.
That's right. They don't.
They do not care about dying. The idea of dying young does not seem to scare any of them. And that is a sad, sad situation. Because I was 20 years old. The last thing I was thinking about was dying.
That's right.
I was not trying to die. I was not trying to be killed. But somehow along in their mind, they've gotten it to think it's a badge of honor. There's no respect of life to go and take somebody's life over a corner, over a drug, or because you disrespected me.
First of all, you don't even own the corner.
Right, exactly. You know.
Well, while I'm shooting somebody over a corner, I don't own.
Exactly. You're right.
That don't make any sense. But you know what? This world right now doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. A lot of these young people, I don't know what they're thinking or how they're thinking because they're not thinking.
They're not thinking. Exactly.
We can go, we blaming things on parents, but parents are doing the best that they can do.
Exactly. And you can't put all the blame on the parents.
Can't blame all the parents.
Because you can raise your child the right way. You could have them in church, teach them the things of God, and that child can still out there and get the wrong influence and bump their head and do something crazy.
Now you could be the richest person in the world.
That's right.
Have beautiful kids and give the kids everything.
Right.
And now your kids going out there selling drugs. They're out there shooting people.
Exactly.
Out there just doing whatever they want to do.
They want. Because the outside influences and the television and the movies, all these things are contributing to the degradation of our society and the degradation of our, I haven't used that word in a while, and I'm feeling that one. Hey, Jasmine, and the degradation of our young people. And I'm going to say this because all these so-called reality shows, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Real Housewives of this, Basketball Wives, all these shows are derogatory and painting a derogatory picture of a life that is not real.
That's right.
And they're showing ratchetness time and time again. When these women and these men on here cussing, fighting, and young people have gravitated toward that and think that's the way it should be. And that is weird. That is how. And then you have the music, because now the rap music has changed so much. When we were growing up, you had the Sugar Hill Gang. You had Curtis Blow. You had all that good rap music. No cussing. Nobody with a beat. Nobody with a hoe. Excuse my expression. None of that was going on. But now we've gotten this, and this is what our young people think is acceptable. And goes back to the question tonight: where do we go from here? How do we get people to understand that that is not reality and that is not how you should be living your life? Where do we go from here? How do we fix that? How do we fix that? And these are the things that nobody's talking about. The politicians are sitting in office. Now we got all these people want to run for president. I'm not worried about you running for president unless you can tell me you have some viable solutions to fix the situations that are going on.
Let me tell you something. It's too many people running for president.
And thank you for doing.
Well, I just want to let's start with that.
Right, exactly.
There's too many people running for president for the Democratic Party. Somebody should just drop out now.
Like somebody.
Okay, right. Because we got people in the polls 2%.
Right.
Nobody votes for you, man.
Right, exactly. Right, exactly.
You just raising money. What you raising money for?
Exactly right.
So you get on the debate stage, so
exactly.
so the cameras can hit you, you can say what you want to say.
Right.
But the thing is this though, we really have to look at this election as who do we really want in office?
Exactly.
And is this person right for the country?
Right, exactly.
Because if Trump's not out of there, somebody has to come and unify this country.
That's right.
Because right now we're heading towards, sad to say, a civil war.
We are. If we
got all these people who think they're high and mighty and superior.
That's right.
Now you got the rich, richer than the rich. Now you got the poor, poorer than the poor.
Right, exactly.
There's no middle ground no more.
Right.
Listen, it's very little middle class people in America now.
Right, exactly.
Because the scale has slid so much is that, you know, the 1% has everything.
Exactly.
The 99%, we might be making it.
We might be making it, exactly.
We might be making
it. You know, there's a couple of comments on there, Mike. What are people saying? Because I can't see without even with my glasses on. Not to
make an excuse. A lot of the social programs have been taken away, creating an environment of
nothing to do. And you are absolutely right, Martin, because we're taking away a lot of things that would keep young people busy.
Right.
Because here's the real deal. This is where we talk about where do we go from here. We need to go back to keep our young people busy and good things.
Right.
You know, you shut down the school, you shut down the after school programs, you shut down the funding for clubs. You don't give them a whole lot of alternative to do. Because you fail to realize that young people at a certain age, between 14 and 17, they're not listening to parents.
That's right.
It's just the real deal. Majority of them are not. Their influence are coming from other people right now.
Right.
And this is why we as people, older people, it is our responsibility, if you're anywhere between the ages of 25 and up, it is our responsibility, if you've got some common sense, because some people at 25 don't have common sense.
They're like 12.
They're like 12. Let's just say 30.
Okay.
But as older people, we really have got to start paying attention and spending time with this younger generation, whether it's our son or daughter or not. Because I have found, personally, that when you stop and talk to young people, the majority of them will listen.
That's
and not
right.
only will they listen, they will talk to you. They will engage you. It's all a matter of how you approach stuff.
Exactly.
You know, and we've lost that. See, when I was growing up, there were people, we go to the barbershop, the old heads in the barbershop.
That's right.
You know, we having conversation, we're learning things, some things you probably didn't need to know about.
Yes.
But
A lot of
nevertheless,
things we need to know about.
but they weren't harmful things.
Yeah, right.
You know, they weren't harmful things. But who was talking to them? I mean, there's a lot of great mentoring programs out of here, but I'm going to be honest, I'm a little concerned that we're spending so much time mentoring young people on how to be a success in business, but not how to be a success in life.
That's right.
And they're two different things. Because if you're not a success in, being a success in business is not the only thing that's important. Right. Having moral character, moral fortitude, I'm just with the words tonight, moral fortitude and all those things are important. And if we're not teaching young people that, and we're only focusing on them getting a good education, which is important,
right.
Getting a good job, those things are important. But if they get on, will think, but their soul is wrong.
That's right.
If their soul is not right, if their character is flawed, all they're going to do is take all those bad aspects and take them into business and be shady businessmen and women.
It's just like I always say, you buy a new house and you put old furniture in.
Exactly. You're right.
Listen, what's the point?
What's the point?
That's right. If you don't have character, you don't have values, you have integrity.
Right.
You don't walk with your head up.
Exactly.
You always got your head down. That's why so many people who have so much money and have no peace.
No peace at all.
That's why the suicide rate in America is so high.
Right.
Not for poor people.
Right.
It's for people that got money.
That got money. That's right. Because money cannot buy you happiness.
Money cannot buy you peace.
Exactly.
I tell people this all the time. and I've learned this for myself. There's no amount of money in the world that you can give me that can really take the place of some peace.
That's right, exactly. You're right. It's not worth it. Hey guys, check this out. You know, because before we didn't have a call-in number. So listen, because we're in our new home now. You guys want to call in and have a comment or something? Give us a call. We're at 484-477-6348. Once again, that's 484-477-6348. Give us a call. Let's talk. But our topic tonight is, where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
Because there's so much going on in the world right now. We're just so far out of sync, it's not even funny. And I know this is not what God intended. It's just not. And we really got to get back to the basics. We really do. And all the technology that we have and all the wonderful things that we have, in some aspects, has ruined us.
That's it.
They in some aspect, it's been very detrimental. I'm not against technology. Believe me, I love the technology. But at the end of the day, I think it's done us as much harm as it's done us good. Because now we don't sit down and talk no more. The generation that's coming up, they don't talk, they text. They don't talk to each other. You know, there's lack of communication skills. We're in a hurry. Everything has got to be in a hurry. Families are sitting around dinner table, and the whole family's sitting around texting.
Everybody
texting.
Everybody eating your chicken. They just going around texting.
Texting, or checking their Instagram, or checking their Facebook, or checking their Snapchat. Communication is being gone. We don't really know what's going on with your children, because if we're allowing that to happen during dinner time, you can't buy your children these things to keep them busy, to keep them out of your hair. It's detrimental.
See, because you know what, Tom? Those things are taking they're substituting those things for parenting.
Yes, they are.
That's the problem.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I remember sitting down, my mom would cook dinner. She would sit down, she would talk to us when she was home, because she was working a lot.
Right.
I remember, families used to sit around at Thanksgiving.
Right.
And we used to sit down and everybody talk, and your uncle would tell a lie, your grandfather would tell a lie, but
exactly.
We would laugh and joke.
Right.
You don't see that no more.
You don't.
You don't see. Listen, everybody's got so caught up on, like you said, their Instagram, their Facebook.
Right.
It's to the point where, what are we doing?
Right.
How are we building relationships?
We're not.
It's no face-to-face. Even if we have a job interview, they want you to do a video interview.
They want you to do a video interview now.
I mean, how you going to know something about me on the video?
Exactly. It's funny. I told my sister, I love my sister. I never yell at her. I never get mad at her. The other day, because I've been calling her and she wasn't returning my calls, and then she texted me one. So I left her a message on Sunday. Said, "Look, I love you. I never get mad at you, but I don't do you haven't returned my call. We agreed that when you moved to Vegas, you called me at least once a week. You haven't stuck to your end of the bargain, and so therefore, I can't tell how you are by text. So I need you to call me." So about 15 minutes later, she called me. I said, "Listen to my message." She started laughing. She said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." I said, "This is what I'm talking about, because I can't do the text thing with you. After a while, if you're busy, say, hey, I just think about you, that's one thing. But to have a whole conversation in text, I don't do it." And I tell people,
too many paragraphs.
It's too many paragraphs. Too much lost in translation. People want to do business with me over text. I don't do it. I just don't. We've got to go back to some of the basic things that those of us who are older were brought up on. And this is, where do we go from here? Sometimes going backwards is a good thing.
That's right.
Sometimes. Most of the time it's not. And it's not necessarily going backwards. It's just revisiting some of the things that really work for us.
And you know what, Tom? We need to go back to really look at our history.
Right.
Because a lot of this stuff that's happened in the past.
That's right.
And then we need to know how those people got over these things that happened.
Exactly.
Racism has been here for hundreds of years.
Right.
But you know what? But it took a man named Dr. Martin Luther King. It took a man like Malcolm X. It took a man like Medgar Evers.
Exactly.
People who thought more about people than themselves.
That's right.
Even gave their lives to people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And right now, we don't have too many leaders who are focusing on. Everybody's focusing on what Trump is doing.
That's right. Exactly.
It's good that you're focusing on but he's not the end all to be all.
He's not.
Because you know why? Once he leave office, you still gonna have those racist people.
That's right. That's a very good point. They're still gonna be there.
Gonna be there.
That's right.
That problem's still gonna be sitting in that corner over there.
That's right.
We're gonna have to start taking care of that problem.
That's right.
That problem has been in that corner for a long time. Now look at that. It's just like trash. It's starting to really stink now.
It is, exactly.
So what are we gonna do to clean that up?
Right.
Now where do we go from there to clean that thing up?
Exactly.
This is the first thing that we do. Let me give you a few pointers. The first thing is this.
Oh, the professor's here.
You're going to have to understand that we need to get back to talking.
Yes.
We need to talk about how that started.
That's right.
How we're going to end this racism thing.
Right.
We're going to have to sit down with a bunch of people that may not like one another.
Right. That's right.
Because you know what? A lot of times, people who are sitting across from one another don't really know one another.
That's right. That's right.
Until we start talking.
Right.
America has to have a serious debate on this racism thing. Mm-hmm. Not talk about going to committees on TV and all this and stuff.
Right.
No, we need to have a serious dialogue. And it needs to be constant.
Right.
I mean, it needs to be consistent. Everybody needs to talk about it. We don't just need it just once a year or twice a year.
Right.
We might need it 20 times a year. We might have to move this thing across the country.
Right.
Having forums talking about how do we end racism, how do we end this hate.
Right.
And then the second thing, we need to go back into these rural areas and tell these people, we're not trying to take your jobs.
Right, exactly.
Because a lot of this stuff is economics too.
Right.
People are they're racist because they think, oh, minorities getting all this and we're getting all that. No, if you look at the back page, the only thing we get is a bunch of killers.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we need to go out and start talking to people. And listen, embrace our differences.
Exactly.
That's what we need to do.
Right.
We need to stop telling people to go back.
Right.
Where they going back to? The part before us, Congressman, she lived in Minnesota.
Right, exactly.
I know she was from Somalia, but she lived in Minnesota.
Right, exactly. She's an American citizen.
She's an American citizen.
Exactly.
Then the other one, she lived in Washington, I think.
Right.
He told her to go back. Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. Let me tell you something. We are a country of immigrants.
We are, and that's what made America great.
That's made America great.
That made America great. Not this nonsense that's going on. But you know what, Mike? You know what's interesting to me? Because in the corporate world, you know, we hear so much about cultural diversity and inclusion,
right?
Which is a wonderful thing. It is. But I said this a while ago. But let's just stop this right here. There would be no need for cultural diversity and inclusion classes and workshops and seminars if we kept this one basic principle around: love thy brother as I love thyself.
That's right.
Love is the key word to all this madness that's going on here. You know, people are making millions, thousands of dollars on cultural diversity workshops and cultural diversity training, but at the end of the day, who is it really helping?
That's right.
I'm not knocking it. People need to know, but people are still walking out of the class with their difference of opinion and some of their racist attitudes.
That's right. You need to listen. You have to take that course to even get a job.
Right, exactly.
You have to take that in-service to get a job.
Right.
Why we can't have an in-service the whole country?
Right, on love.
On love.
Love and respect for each other. That's what, to me, is more important, because once we understand the value and how we need to love each other as we love ourselves, then we have no racial issue.
That's right.
If I love you, if I love let me be funny, the Mexican brother down the street like I love me, we don't have no problem.
That's right.
If I love the Asian brother like I love myself, we ain't got no problem. If I love white people like I love myself, we ain't got no problem. There's no need to sit in a half-day workshop, but we don't talk about love. We're busy making money on talking about inclusion and diversity. Well, here's the thing. You can walk down the street, you all know we're diverse.
That's it.
It don't take a rocket science to see we got black people, brown people, light-skinned people, white people. We got people walking in all different areas of life. You've got straight, gay, bisexual, transgender, you got all that.
That's right.
And I'm not advocating any of those, but I'm advocating love of people.
That's right.
That's what I'm advocating. I don't hate you because I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in.
That's right.
So I'm not you're gay, that's between you and God. I'm going to tell you what the Bible says and keep it moving.
That's right.
My personal opinion about that is something I really won't get into when it comes to that whole thing. But what I will say to you, I don't have any hatred for anybody.
That's right.
You know, just pray for them. The God will give them revelation. But this is where we need to focus more on love and so much this inclusion. You know, because we've gotten, you know, like I said, we're spending thousands of dollars on these workshops, but the problem is people aren't changing.
That's right, people not changing.
They're not changing.
Because you know why? Because they give you, you know how it is. They teach you something, they put the slides in.
Right.
They bring all the slides in and everything like that. And people be like, okay, all right, that's good.
Right.
That's all they say, that's good.
Right.
You know, listen, I got the job now. I done took the course. Now I'm going to go sit back. I'm going to have my same racist thoughts. I'm going to have my same racist attitude.
Right, exactly.
But the thing is this, though. It goes back down what I said. We need to start talking to one another.
We do.
We need to promote this thing called love.
Right.
Because this thing is greater than anything.
It is.
It covers a multitude of sins.
Yes,
that's what the Bible says.
That's what the Bible says.
It covers a multitude of sins.
Exactly.
And if we don't allow love to take over this country,
that's right.
Again, we're going to be in a civil war.
We are.
Because right now, the have and the have-nots, people who have it, they have everything.
Right, exactly.
And the people who don't have nothing at all.
Exactly.
I remember when you could be poor and still have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out.
Right, exactly.
Nowadays, you ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out.
Exactly.
So it's to the point where now it's just not racism.
Right.
It's classism.
It is, exactly.
So it's a different class now. It's a different level.
Right.
Nobody's thinking about, okay, how can we bring this man up?
Exactly.
How can we improve this and this, bring this neighborhood up?
Right.
Nobody's thinking about that.
Exactly.
Everybody's thinking about, I'm going to get my grind, I'm going to make these millions, and I'm going to leave everybody alone.
And I'm going to leave everybody behind.
I'm going to buy me a house, I'm buy me an island. Matter of fact, I ain't going to buy me an island. I'm going to buy me a place on the moon.
Right, exactly.
Because you know why? Because we don't want to be around people. It's sad to say. We have to be around people.
We do.
We have to love people. The Bible is very clear about that.
It is.
Love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Exactly.
It's very clear.
It's not a complicated concept.
It's not a complicated concept.
But it's the one thing that we haven't tried.
That's it.
Amazingly, it's the one thing that as a whole we have not tried and we have not focused on. We've tried everything else.
That's right.
You know, we've done everything else, but we really haven't focused on the very simple and very basic principle of love. And loving each other and respecting each other. Because if we get back to that, I don't have to agree with you.
That's right.
There are days I probably won't like you.
That's
but
right.
at the end of the day, in spite of all that, I need to love you. I'm going to love you. And I'm going to respect you. Difference of opinion does not stop me from loving you.
That's right.
You know, I'm not trying to force my opinion on you. Don't try to force your opinion on me. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, there's one God.
That's it.
And we all got to answer to Him.
And
although as a Christian, especially as a man of God and a teacher of God, it is my responsibility to tell you the Word of God.
That's right.
You know, now you can take it or not leave it. You know, it's not about me judging your life, but I'm definitely my responsibility to tell you that's not the way God wants us to go.
And we need to get back to, I can give my opinion on stuff.
Right, exactly.
Because a lot of times, my opinion is not racist.
Right.
I just have an opinion about it.
Exactly.
You may disagree with it.
Right.
Okay? Well, let's agree to disagree.
Exactly.
We got to so much and we don't know what racism is.
We don't.
You know, you don't know if racism sometimes racism is something right in the face and you say nothing about it.
Exactly.
But as soon as somebody gives their opinion about something, oh, you being racist.
Right, exactly, right.
No,
that might have been that's their opinion.
That's their opinion.
You know?
So
exactly.
But back to our topics tonight is where do we go from here? Where do we go from, you know, all these racist comments? Where do we go from all these shootings? What are we doing? There's another thing that we haven't really discussed, and it's how to bring in people into an economic situation that's better for them.
Yes.
Because I think once we get to the point where everybody get a slice of the pie.
That's right.
And that's the thing. America was built on that. A slice of the pie. Come to this country so I get a slice of this apple pie.
Exactly.
They used to talk about America, the apple pie.
Right.
But everybody's not getting a slice of pie.
You're right. You're right.
Everybody, listen. They ain't even picking up the knife.
Exactly.
And that's the problem in America right now.
It is.
We're so worried about other things, but we're not worried about bringing people out of the poverty.
Right, exactly. And I question hatred sometimes versus anger.
That's right.
You know, I question if there's really a hatred that a person has for somebody, or because they're just so angry because they're trying to get something and nobody's helping them.
That's right.
And like you said, we're going back to this class now. It's either all the way up here to have and the have-nots. You know, and so your point is very well the fact that we need to go back to make sure that we all have a fair chance.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, and especially being a black man, all we've ever wanted as black people is a fair shot.
That's right.
A fair chance.
A fair opportunity.
A fair opportunity. I want to go to the interview. I want to be interviewed and judged based upon my skills and everything. The same person as somebody that does not look like me is.
That's right.
I want to be treated fairly. And when we get back to that point right there, we can get back there, then we've done something. You know, but once again, we set up all these, you know, people don't realize how much they've contributed to what's going on in this world. You know, you got corporations that play games.
Right.
You know, they don't hire fairly. All these things have happened, and then and you always get the question, why are black men so mad? We always get that question. Why are black men so mad? Well, here's the answer to that. We're mad because a lot of times we don't get the fair opportunity.
That's right.
We don't get treated fairly. We get looked at differently. And I'm not prejudiced by any man, you know. And we're both professional men here. But being professional men has not stopped us from having to deal with people's ignorance.
That's right.
I'm not even saying racism. I'm just saying people's ignorance or people's perception of us because we're black men and we can be dressed in two-piece suits.
That's right.
Certain ties.
Certain ties.
And still get that look like, you know, I can't trust you, I don't want to be around you, people grabbing their pocketbook. So if you want to know why we're angry, that's not the reason why we're angry. You know, it's just that we have learned how to channel our discontent with this stuff and not be crazy and go ahead and shoot somebody.
That's right.
And that's what we got to go back to and teach our young people.
And that's right. We need to educate them. We need to educate the other people that's over there trying to clutch their pocketbooks too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I was just there. I was just with my godson a couple of weeks ago. We were at Target, and a woman comes by and she sees and she grabs her pocketbook. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, are you for real? First of all, I can guarantee you, ladies, you don't have enough money in your pocketbook for me to go to jail
That's
for.
right.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's right.
You do not have enough money in your pocketbook for me to
I'm not
go
going
to
to jail
jail
for nobody.
I'm not.
No,
I'm
listen.
not.
You ain't listen. You ain't got enough money.
You ain't got enough money, especially with you carrying in your pocketbook. I guarantee you, you don't have enough money in there for me to go to jail for. What's the comment? What, can we see that? What's Martin say? We need another Million Man
Watch.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. I'm sorry, Martin. I disagree with you because the Million Man March did not accomplish anything.
That's right.
My opinion alone.
And I was there.
It did not accomplish anything. All it accomplished was getting a bunch of black men together to march. But what positive outcome came from the Million Man March? What change was impacted from the Million Man March? How have black men gotten together, become better and more stronger from the Million Man March? I'm sorry, I do not agree with that. I'm sorry. Read the whole comment. We need to know Million Man March that is open for all cultures. This is a start. America needs to racial harmony. Okay, all right, okay, I got you. I'm with that. I got you. Cause I'm not even saying because I am not doing another.
Look, to tell you the truth though, Mark, I don't want another march.
Yeah.
I'm tired of marching.
Yeah.
We've been marching for so long. We done marched out our boots.
My legs are tired.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think really now, what we really do is to sit down.
Right.
I think we need a real discussion on stuff now. Because I don't think, you know, we hold up protest signs and everything else. We bring, again, we got teddy bears on every corner now.
That's right.
Because somebody got shot, somebody
That's right.
got killed. We got all this stuff. But we need a very sincere talk about what are we going to do about Flint.
Exactly.
What are we going to do about our neighborhoods?
Right.
Why, again, how can we stop these guns and these drugs coming in our neighborhoods?
That's right, exactly.
No, not just the black people.
Right, exactly.
The black people are the ones that got drugs coming in here.
That's right. They do not.
And see, let's get that. Let's educate people about that.
Right.
Because we got a whole lot of people that's hooked on opioids.
Yes, we do.
And they're not black. That's the first thing.
Right.
We need to have a discussion on how do we stop the drugs from going in every neighborhood.
Exactly.
Not just our neighborhood.
Right.
Because you know we can stop going to our neighborhood, then spill over to somebody else's neighborhood. Because let me tell you something. I don't want nobody else's child to get killed.
That's right.
I don't want nobody else's child to get overdosed.
That's right. Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And I disagree. One thing I disagree with these shoot-up places. These places, these needle places.
Oh yeah, that is ridiculous.
First of all, why are you enabling these people to come in here to shoot up
drugs?
In front of shoot up drugs, illegal drugs.
Illegal, because you think it's going to save their life because you can't control it. No, that is the most ridiculous. I'm sorry, Mike. That is the most ridiculous. Who watched the show many years ago? That's where they got the idea from. Yeah. That show that came on TV many years ago. And they did that episode. They had it where the mayor actually had legal places where people could go shoot up drugs. Somebody watched that from that TV show. I can't remember the name of it. They got it. It is the most ridiculous idea out there that I've heard in a long time. That's right. It is. You're promoting drug use. If you want to help people, help them get off the drug.
That's right.
Give them a place to go where they don't have to, if they can't afford it, to get treated to get off the drug. But don't just say, well, we'll help you get the drug and we can watch you so you don't OD. Right. That is ludicrous. But here's where we go from here, to Mike's point. We got to start in our own backyard.
Right.
You know, we got to start looking out for our own communities, on our own blocks. We got to go back to the days when we had block captains. We got to go back to the days where we really spoke and talked to our neighbors. That's right. We got to go back to that, because once we go back to that, you'll find out and have those conversations. The block party, not the block party where the music is blasting and everybody just doing their thing.
And then somebody coming down the block shooting everybody else.
Exactly. We need to have conversations, block meetings where people are really talking to each other and trying to come up with some solutions to the situation. If your neighborhood is drug infested and you're all living there, why aren't y'all coming together as a neighborhood and saying, we need to form a neighborhood watch, we need to do this, we need to be watch, we need to let them know we're not going to stand for this. Right. But we're not doing that. We can't go all the way up here without starting here.
That's right.
And we can only control but so much. We can only be responsible for so much. And like they always say, I think it's charity begins at home.
That's right.
Well, this stuff has to start at home. And when I say home, yes, I'm talking about our own houses as well, but I'm also talking about our own neighborhoods. Right. We gotta make our congressmen, our state representatives, we gotta make all these people responsible. We got to make them understand. We got to make them come out of their office and come into our neighborhoods and see what's going on. What do you say there?
People can line up to those drug treatment centers, treatments for free chemical drug treatments.
You can go back. You can go broke and lose everything. You're right, exactly. It doesn't make any sense to.
I'm sorry, we both can't see.
We can't make too far, right? Exactly. But you're right. But it doesn't make any sense. That is not a solution. I don't know who came up with the idea, but it is not a solution. And all you're doing is encouraging drug use. But to go back, go ahead, Mike.
But one of the things is they're not getting to the root of the problem.
They're not.
See, this opioid crisis caused by doctors over-prescribing opioids.
That's right.
That's what started this drug thing.
Right, exactly.
So now you have a culture who is mostly not just they are addicted to prescription drugs.
Right.
Then when they can't get the prescription drugs, now they're going back to doing heroin. Right. Now they're going back to doing excessive use of marijuana.
Exactly.
But the first thing is the problem is we need to get these doctors stop prescribing all these Oxycontins.
Right.
Vicodin, all this other stuff that people who don't know who can easily get addicted to.
Exactly. That's
see, that's the opioid crisis in America.
Right.
It's the doctors giving prescribing drugs that they should be giving to teenagers.
Right, exactly. A teenager should not be taking Oxycontin.
I'm
sorry. And if you're giving that to a teenager, you better do it while they're in the hospital the first couple of days and be done with it.
That's right.
Because you can't monitor people when they leave, and people will tell you, well, I'm still in pain, and the doctor writes you out the prescription for some more. Well, that's not acceptable.
That's not acceptable.
Those drugs are dangerous.
That's right.
They are highly addictive. I took Vicodin one time and I had one of my wisdom teeth pulled out. And I called the doctor and said, I can't do this. I cannot mess with this Vicodin. This Vicodin is making me crazy. Mm-hmm. You're not managing it. And so they do hold responsibility for that. They do.
They do. And that's the thing that we need to focus on. You need to start and then bring down the cost of prescription drugs.
Thank you. Period.
See, that's the thing. See, it's all these things are linking together. Right. You got this opioid crisis, crisis. You got this gun violence crisis.
Exactly.
And most of this stuff is stemming from drugs.
Right.
Stemming from getting illegal drugs. Getting guns and stuff in our neighborhood.
Exactly.
So they can buy more drugs.
Right. Exactly.
But we're not, like I said, we need to start looking at the root of these problems in our neighborhoods.
That's right. Exactly.
And that's a big problem in America now. Mm-hmm. It's not just our neighborhood no more.
Right, it's not, exactly.
It's the suburban neighborhoods now.
That's right, exactly.
Now the suburban neighborhood. Listen, I was talking to somebody about a neighborhood in Kensington. If you drove back under the bridge, they got tents. Mm-hmm. People are addicted to so many things. Opioids, heroin, marijuana.
Right.
And we got them in tents underneath a bridge. We ain't cleaning the bridge underneath the bridge out. Why? First of all, why do they have a tent? Somebody gave a tent.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. Because we're not concerned. If we can keep that population where they are, and see, this is what people aren't even smart enough to know. If we create these drug sites where people can go and shoot up legally, per se, we'll keep them out of our hands.
That's right.
And nobody is smart enough to even see that for what it is. We'll control it. We'll put you right in this area here. Don't come out of this area here. We'll supply you with the drugs. You can shoot up here as long as we don't have to see it.
That's right.
And nobody has common sense enough to see that that's what they're doing. See, we fall for anything.
That's right.
You know, we fall for anything. And this is where it goes back to the topic. Where do we go from here? Right. We got to start paying attention. We can no longer, well, we never really could. We can't count on the government and elected officials to have our best interests at heart. Right. We cannot, because they don't have it. They don't have it. So it goes back, and we're almost out of time, so we're going to recap this real quick. Great conversation tonight, Mike. What a great way to come back.
That's right.
We're going to go back to where we started. First of all, we're going to go back to where we started. Where do we go from here? We go back to God. We go back to the things of God. If we do not go back to the things of God, ladies and gentlemen, things are only going to get worse.
That's it.
Our answers are found in Jesus Christ and the Word of God. I don't care how you say it. You can dispute me all you want to. I'm a big boy. I can take it. But I'm telling you what I know. Prayer. If we don't get back on our knees again and really take prayer up, an intercessory prayer, and even for those who can't pray for themselves,
that's right.
These are the fundamental things that we need to go back to. These are the things that we walked away from, because I said before now, everything is everything. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do me. Well, living your life and doing you has caused a whole lot of chaos.
That's it.
And that's where we are. The devil is running rampant because we've opened up the window for him now to come in and do his madness, and we don't even realize it. So that's where we go from here, number one. Number two, we go back to our communities, and we go back to being neighbors. We go back to talking to our neighbors. We go back watching out for our neighbors. We go back to making our elected officials responsible. We put them in the office, have them come out of the office and check out our neighborhood. You shouldn't have to wait 3 weeks to get a road paved in your neighborhood. It's full of potholes.
That's it.
We're not making them accountable. We're putting them in the office. We need to, if you have to sit in the office of City Hall, then sit there.
Right.
That's what they did in the 60s. That's what they did. If you want to have a sit-in, go sit in City Hall. Go sit in your state representative's office and in that area, in that building, and say you're not moving until they come out and check out the problem in your neighborhood and start doing something about it. We have the power. We're just not using it. In some ways, we've gotten disgusted. We've gotten frustrated. And while I understand that, that's not the answer. We got to go back to basics. We got to go back to the things that lifted us up from the 50s and the 60s. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they did things that lifted us up. Even the slaves, they knew how to do things. The slaves survived on prayer and prayer alone and looking out for each other. That's how they survived. And we've got to go back to that. So our topic tonight was, where do we go from here? And then we go back to love.
That's right.
We go back to loving each other.
That's it.
That's what we need. The key to this whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, is love for each other. Love thy brothers that love their son. If we get that concept down, I promise you, we get that down and mix it with consistent, fervent prayer, I promise you things will change.
That's right. And then after we got this, and then we got to be consistent about talking to one another.
Right.
I think we are so caught up on texting, we're so caught on social media things that we don't sit down across the table from somebody and have an honest conversation about what's going on.
That's right.
Because you know what? That's how you promote love.
That's right.
Because now we're sitting, we're talking.
Right.
Listen, even over a meal.
Right, exactly.
Because one thing I love about a meal is that, you know, I always think of cooking is love.
Right, exactly.
And when you sit across somebody and have a conversation about how can we do things, how can we build this, how can we stop this in our neighborhoods, how can we stop this racism in America?
Right.
You know, we need to have a serious conversation about this. And let me tell you something. We're going to be voting soon in November for them 20-something
Democrats. Right, exactly.
I'm so disgusted about that.
Right. right.
Well, we're going to be voting soon.
Right.
All I ask is this, is that you vote for somebody who's going to do something for this country.
That's right, exactly.
Because you know why? Because for the last 3 years, we have done nothing for this country. We have not promoted love, we only promoted hate. Right. We got roads and bridges are falling apart. These roads and bridges could be fixed by people who don't have jobs.
Exactly.
We still don't have no good water in Flint, Michigan.
That's right.
And we still don't have no water. We got bad water in Newark now.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's part of infrastructure.
It is.
Somebody don't have a job who's trying to pull themselves up from the bootstraps, they get